Okay, guys, welcome back to a new video here. So recently, Sam Seder had a major podcast appearance with Patrick Bet-David, and he absolutely dismantled them. Every single talking point, one by one, was completely destroyed on a number of different issues. And if you guys look at the comment section, actually, it's almost 100% on Sam's side. Even some of the PBD supporters were like, every time Sam would try and make a point, they would just step in and try and change the subject because they know they don't know what they're talking about in many aspects. They have no factual evidence to back it up. It's very vibes-based politics. It's a vibe that people are voting illegally, even though they have literally zero evidence to support the case. And the first clip I'm going to show you is specifically on this issue and topic where it's basically like, hey, they made a claim, like Elon Musk, for example, when he was in Wisconsin, where they had that destruction of a loss of Elon Musk Supreme Court candidate. In fact, since then, Elon's kind of been shown the door, openly criticizing members of the Trump administration, specifically on the tariff policy. And they were basically saying, did you got the PBD people? Because of course, everything the Trump administration said is amazing. It's great. They zero pushback or any sort of skepticism whatsoever. They have none of it. And basically they're like, oh, Elon says all these people have Social Security. You shouldn't have it. Or these undocumented immigrants. What's up with that? What's up with that? Wow, they're voting. This is why the Democrats won this election, possibly because of the undocumented people voting, even though they have literally zero evidence to support that case. Sam brings up the point, wait a second, the reason why we give these people a Social Security card is specifically so they can buy into the system and actually pay taxes. They're not the ones who are getting paid Social Security. Not to mention, it literally says on the Social Security card, this is you cannot vote. You are not able to vote. And then Patrick Bet-David is like, oh, you're just being naive. Like, notice how there's literally zero evidence to back up anything they say, and they know they have nothing to say other than, oh, I feel like they're voting illegally, so I'm just going to say that. And of course, when Sam brings this point up, it's like, oh, let's go on to a different topic. And throughout the entirety of the podcast, there's numbers of issues where they just change a topic when Sam is just destroying them with facts. And they just get angry. And then Sam even had to step in where Vinny was like getting angry and his face was red and he had to turn down his mic because it was so ridiculous. Okay, so the first clip I'm going to show you is this of basically Sam destroying their talking points. Here's the first clip, guys. And by the way, make sure to like and subscribe. It's super good for the algorithm. We're really close to 500 subs, so hit that subscribe button. We're super close. We're hoping to get there maybe within a week, which would be great. So hit that subscribe button. Here's the first clip, and we'll talk about it after.
On the plane down of when Elon Musk was in Wisconsin blowing up his whole brand, essentially. And he was on stage with a guy named Garcia. Do you guys remember this video?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
It was like 2 days ago.
Yes. The Social Security numbers spiking in the last 4 years.
The Social Security numbers.
2.2 million new non-citizen Social Security numbers. Yes.
And the amount of misinformation from every single person, all of you, was astonishing to me.
What was it? What was the misinformation?
I mean, well, I almost feel like we should go through the whole video.
This is coming from a socialist.
No,
the level of credibility of a socialist.
Yes,
progressive system that has never worked. But I want to hear it.
That is anti-oligarchy.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Go for it.
First off, you seem to not understand that these were not undocumented immigrants who were getting these Social Security numbers. They are non-citizens. Now, when you came to this country, you were an immigrant. Your parents came legally.
Right.
Every single one of those people who got those Social Security numbers are here legally. They're not citizens, just like you weren't when you first came to this country.
Yeah.
You get a green card. Your parents get a green card. They go through a process.
Yeah.
All of those people, and understand, they got their Social Security card.
I really want to see your point.
Well, the point is, you referred to them as undocumented and illegal.
No,
you did.
I said non-citizen.
No, excuse me.
Don't say everyone here. I said non-citizen. Correct yourself.
I can't remember which one of you got it wrong. I think you did.
Just be specific.
So you're thinking, but
we can play the video and go through it. But
I'm still trying to get to the point.
I just want to make. Well, the point is, they're not illegal. They're not undocumented. They're all legal.
Right.
The expansion from that program, the EBE program, which is enumeration beyond entry, was started under the Trump administration. The numbers have gone up because, yes, under Biden, as opposed to Trump, there was an expansion of people who were here, probably, I'm not sure.
A lot of illegals.
Excuse me.
10 plus million.
Not a single one of them.
Breaking number of people.
Hold on, you're changing the subject now.
No, I'm not changing the subject.
I'm talking about that video.
Yeah.
And every one of those Social Security numbers that was handed out.
So how do you feel about the illegal immigrants that came to us 4 years?
I will get to illegal.
You don't care about those people.
I will get to the undocumented.
You cared about children.
Well, you don't want to talk about this, and I don't blame you because it's embarrassing.
No, but let me do.
Okay, again, just completely destructing. They have no response because they have no evidence to back up any of their claims. And this is something we see on the right with a lot of different influencers like Joe Rogan, for example. Again, they make these claims, but they can't back it up. They have a lot of people like Dave Smith on. Joe Rogan has a number of different people who basically back up what he already thinks. It's confirmation bias on a loop, which is why he doesn't have many liberals or leftists actually on his podcast anymore. Okay. And they have nothing to say. And they continue to go in like, oh, the government, people don't want their money going to the government. They want to going to the private sector is what Patrick Bet-David was trying to make the point in. I'm going to show you that clip in a second too. But again, actually, that's not true. If you actually look at the numbers, people don't want Social Security cut. People actually like Social Security. There's a number of government programs that people actually do like because, especially for seniors, it keeps them living. So the idea that people don't like the government giving them money, like Social Security payments, is just not true. And Patrick Bet-David, who doesn't understand this, obviously, it's like the first time someone's ever telling them this because in a lot of cases, they're just all agreeing with each other and they have no sort of pushback for the administration or anything they're doing. And even Elon Musk, they love what he's doing, and Doge, of course. And they say the American people voted for Doge. Wait, what? First of all, just to be clear, nobody, and again, Sam makes a point, no one heard of Doge until after the November election. Nobody heard of it. And not to mention, Elon Musk is one of the most unpopular people in Trump's administration. He's at a 35%, if it's even that high, of an approval rating in his administration. Doge is not popular at all. So a lot of these people think, even Andrew Schultz, Joe Rogan, Doge is amazing. This great thing. Everyone loves Doge. Elon Musk has a 35% approval rating. And these elections were a referendum on that, which is why even the Republican who won in Florida in the special election, he won by 15 points less than Trump did in his election. So we're seeing Democrats come out in massive numbers. It's basically a referendum on the administration saying, hey, we actually don't like what the current administration is doing and keep our hands off Social Security, stop getting involved in the government and slashing benefits for people. It's completely insane. The idea that the American people love this, it's a lie. It's not true. And I think he knows this. I think Patrick Bet-David knows this. A lot of these guys, they know what they're saying is completely incorrect. He knows that Elon Musk has a 35% approval rating. He knows that Doge is not popular, but he says it like, oh, everyone loves this. People voted for this. That's not true. He's just lying. Here's a clip of Sam Seder making this point. We'll talk about it.
I asked you a question that the money that's going in, Americans prove that they don't trust the government getting the money than free market, free enterprise.
I don't think that's the case.
You never addressed that.
I don't think that's the case. People love Social Security. People love Medicare.
Expenditure. What we learned with Doge. The American people said, Sam, enough of you taking our tax money and see what you're doing with it.
Elon Musk made that Wisconsin election of a referendum on Doge. To the extent that we've seen anybody vote on Doge, nobody heard the word Doge before November of last year. To the extent that we've seen a referendum on Doge, it just happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Florida, where the size of the win by those Republican congressmen was cut by 17, 20 points. I mean, this is a wipeout. And every Republican, you're going to see a difference in Republican lawmakers over the next year and a half, because anybody who was in a plus Trump 8 district or less is now starting to go like, wait a second. That's why Musk is being shown the door, supposedly. So getting back to my point about those Social Security.
Again, just completely dismantles them. He says that what they're saying is not true. What they're saying is not true. And again, the problem is, and especially in society today with media, a lot of these people, audiences, and again, a lot of people succumb to this, even on the left. You have people who have specific members of the media, digital media, who they listen to, and that's where they get their primary source of information. But in reality, there's actually way more information out there and different sourcing of material, especially on the right wing. Like Patrick Bet-David and his podcast followers, they get usually just one source of information. They don't hear any sort of other side. It's completely confirmation bias, which is why it's so hard to actually change people's mind today, because people live in an echo chamber. They don't see any sort of differing opinion to what they actually believe. They go to places where they get confirmation bias. Even like Fox News, for example, Newsmax, people go to where they want to see news. They want their original biases confirmed. That's the entire purpose of this. And again, the next point in particular, I just think is so insane, the tariff policy. We're seeing the economy absolutely collapse right now. The stock market is collapsing. The market opens tomorrow. I mean, the futures open at 6 p.m. tonight, which is in a couple of minutes. There's a lot of projections out there that we could see a Black Monday sort of event. I mean, JP Morgan now predicts a recession. Prices are going to go through the roof on these tariffs. A lot of these guys, Patrick Bet-David was saying, don't vote for Kamala because she's going to raise prices. She's going to raise prices. Inflation is insane. Now, these same people are like, oh, tariffs are great. Tariffs are great, even though he is, again, totally vibes based. They're ripping us off, not going into any sort of specific details. You gotta go with it. The Only the weak fail. These ridiculous talking points. The American people have to be willing to pay more in order to be a patriot. Where was this kind of talking points during the election? Trump did not campaign on this at all. He definitely did not say that, oh, yeah, there's going to be prices higher for a short time. He definitely did not say this. So the entire thing is completely insane. These same people who said that he would lower prices are now defending him raising prices and calling out people who disagree with it. It's completely insane. Not to mention how insane the tariff rollout policy actually was. And here's Sam Seder just completely destroying them on this. And we'll talk about it after. Here's a clip of Sam Seder just dismantling them on tariffs. Makes a great argument, basically saying even their rollout of tariffs was ridiculous. So here's a clip, and we'll talk about it after.
You said tariff was the last word. That was the only time you used the word tariffs. Look, I am in favor of tariffs when it is part of a specific agenda to build a certain industry or a certain industry within a certain region. This is absolute insanity. First off, they're going to use this as potential revenue. Like he says, it's not going to replace the income tax, but what they're going to do is they're going to use it as an excuse to cut taxes on wealthy people. You guys will be very excited about that. But who's going to pay that tax? If it's $600 billion a year, as they're saying, over a 10-year period, it's going to be $6 trillion. That is going to be an average of $5,000 tax on Americans. It is a regressive tax. I like taxation, but I like progressive taxation because $5,000 for somebody making $40,000 is a much bigger problem than $5,000 for me or for you. And so this is a regressive tax on Americans. Now, if it's to work to build up industry, and I don't know how we're going to have a banana industry in this country or how we're going to have a lumber industry to rival Canada's because we just don't have the wood and so on. I mean, people get the idea. There's certain industries you can actually say, this is one we're going to build up. Maybe there'll be a low cost clothing business that revives in this country, but I doubt it. But if tariffs are meant to work to build up industry, that means people aren't paying those taxes. So the tariffs may not raise the money, but what will happen is, and I think you understand this too about pricing, if the price of goods goes up on average, and it looks like in some of these places, it's going to go way above 10%. I mean, some of Vietnam, like 39%, China, 75%. They're adding all of these tariffs on. It's insane. Then U.S. companies, to the extent that there are ones that are making these same goods, they have between 0 and 75% to raise their prices. And they will because, the price of this, there's a certain elasticity and they can justify raising their prices 5% if their nearest competitor is, 25% raise in price. I mean, they'll do it because, there's some products that people just can't do without. So this is such a disaster. And of course, what it also does is last time we had a major financial crisis in this country in 2008, it took 6 years for the stock market to get back at parity. You're talking about 401ks have been a disaster insofar as people just don't put as much money in them as they should because they don't have the money on a regular basis. But God help those people if there wasn't Social Security, a robust Social Security, because if you've got to retire and you're 65 and you were planning on retiring, you have a small 401k, it is screwed. And it may not come back for years. Maybe it'll come back tomorrow. But
how do you feel about reciprocal tariffs?
So again, he makes a point, and I think it's a good one. Yeah, tariffs actually can work if you're trying to target a specific industry like cars. It actually can make sense in certain areas, but what Trump is doing is not that at all. He's doing it on every single country, even countries that don't even have people on them. The McDonald Islands with penguins. I mean, the entire thing is insane. It's ridiculous. And Sam destroys them on this point. And again, they support tariffs because Trump says so. If it was the other way around, you know it and I know it, they would be absolutely ripping him to shreds, talking about the stock market collapsing and a recession coming. They'd be all over it. But again, it's about supporting the team. It's about supporting the side no matter what. And that's the point, guys. And that's the problem with digital media today. It's the number one problem. So I think Sam Seder does a great job. You guys can check out the podcast too if you want to watch the full thing. I thought it was really good. I thought Sam Seder just made a great argument, and which is why a lot of people on the left should be doing these podcasts. Try and convince people in the echo chamber, because I think there was a lot of people who saw that and was like, wait a second, Sam is actually making a lot of great points here. Maybe I'll take a second look at the left. I thought it was pretty interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. Again, make sure to like and subscribe. It's super good for the algorithm. Almost at 500 subscribers. Let's try and get there within the next couple of days. So we got a lot of things coming up this week. Stock market in free fall. Iran war appears to be imminent. Netanyahu coming to the White House tomorrow. We could be seeing some sort of strike. Reports coming that Iran might do a preemptive strike on Israel. So I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. wild things coming up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. My Patreon link is in the description as well, and Amazon links to products I use. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.